How about this?
Been a while.
It's John and Rich, and it's like 2020. Welcome, everybody. I am Rich, and this is John, and we don't have titles at the bottom because we didn't make any titles. We haven't done this in a really long time. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Saturday, the 30th before New Year's Eve, right, John?
Yes.
So that's what this is all about.
Crazy it's here already.
Oh my gosh. And who we got in the chat? Who we got? We got Josh is there.
Hello,
we got Jason's Lab. Jason, how you doing, buddy? And Raspy's in there. Awesome. Happy New Year, Raspy. So we wanted to get together with you guys because it's been so long, and we wanted to kind of go through all of the videos we've done throughout the year. This is a good opportunity, for you guys to ask questions if you've got any questions about any of the content of the videos we made. Also, I definitely want all of your general home lab questions if you got some as well. And we're just going to hang out for a couple hours and just kind of have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, should we get started, my friend?
Yeah. Okay. So we went through and we kind of got a playlist here of videos.
Playlist of videos. What could possibly go wrong?
All right, Rich, what do you think is the first one?
I think I know what the first one is here.
Boom.
It's my face doing this.
I got a cheat sheet for you right here.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So I got little cliff notes here for myself.
Cool.
This was how to pass through a GPU in VMware.
Oh yeah. Okay. So that was like the first video we made. So what did Raspy say? This is the first time watching you guys. Radal is usually who I watch, but mentioned you guys. So awesome, dude. I'm super glad you decided to give us a try.
Also, thank you, Radal.
Yeah. Brett is an awesome dude. I've done quite a few streams with him at this point, and he's an awesome guy. He's got a fantastic channel. So if you guys don't know who Radal is, look him up, go subscribe. He's makes some awesome content. Anyway, so
title explains itself.
Yeah, title explains itself. I made this video because when I created the video that was in December of 2022, right before 23, on how to install VMware ESXi, I had people say, well, how do you pass through GPUs? I want to know how to pass through hardware. So when people ask me to make videos, I love making a video about it. So made a video, long story short, it's not a complicated thing. It's a relatively quick and easy thing to do. And you can pass through all manners of hardware, right? You can pass through a network interface or a HBA or GPU or whatever you want. It's complicated though, because it changes the way a virtual machine works, right? You can't suspend VMs and all that kind of stuff. And what Raspy said, he self-hosts many apps on a 3-node proxy. Nice, dude. Nice, very much. Yeah, that's Michelle. Hey, thanks for joining us, Michelle. Yeah, I don't want to ruin anything, but there's a video coming out probably tomorrow from us about me probably transitioning off of VMware onto other hypervisors. So Proxmox is in that list. So yeah.
Okay. So I mean, why would you want to do this? I had the request. They didn't say why, but like, let's say you actually needed this. Like, what would be the use case?
It's really going to come down to somebody who wants to pass a piece of hardware through so they can do a thing. Like maybe you're running Plex in a VM and you want to do hardware encoding or decoding, whatever you want to do. And it's easier to do that by just giving the whole piece of hardware to it. But like I said, it's got limitations. There's problems with it in terms of like, you can't suspend a VM, you can't take snapshots. And so it kind of affects how it can work. But for some people it works really well. I use it at work to pass through like physical hardware to VMs for specific things, but it's a purpose-built sort of thing. But MW Hyper-V, how dare you?
Thank you,
MW.
350.
It's about 350.
Thank you, sir.
So we should do this more often. We get 350.
Yeah. I can get like a beer for that. So.
No, you can't. That's like a half a beer.
It's a half a beer. We are in Portland. All right.
And Jason, how dare you mention Hyper-V? Hyper-V is unacceptable. No.
Speaking of festive beers.
I like his hat.
Yeah, I do too.
I should have put a hat on this year.
You do have your jacket.
But I think Jason actually has hair, so he has no right to wear a hat at any time. When you don't have hair, that's when you get to wear hats. Sorry, people.
So in post, what do you feel like you're missing from this video, or anything? Like, what would you have done differently?
I think the only thing I would have probably, you have more hair than I do. That's for sure.
We're just gonna leave that up there the whole time, Jason.
I think the thing that I would have probably mentioned is that it's not a magical silver bullet to fix a problem. if you need to pass through a piece of hardware to a virtual machine, you're doing so because you have a situation that you're trying to solve and it's problematic. And you're probably going to have problems with it. And the machine's going to reboot, or if you have a cluster and you've got a piece of hardware in one host, you can't move it. Like there's just, it's like a surgical tool. You need to use pass through in a situation where it specifically calls for it because you have no other alternative.
Okay.
That makes sense.
All right.
Yeah. So I don't know if anyone else out there is familiar with passing through, maybe in Proxmox or XCPNG, but you know, it's just kind of I think it's problematic in any hypervisor you've got.
All right. So would you like to, what else we got next? Sorry, I have like 3 screens over here and it's kind of a disaster. All right.
Moving on. What do we got
need
next?
to do this for your home lab. So here's the cliff notes I made for this. You ready?
Let's hear it.
So this video was like, let's just say you pass and your family has no idea how to use your giant server rack.
Yes.
So have you died? Has your family had to use this at all?
Believe me or not, I have not died.
Okay.
I'm still alive.
So also, just to keep your family up to date on this, like, do you think they remember that it's up there at all?
No.
So do you have like an emergency yearly plan? Like when the new year happens, are going to be like exits are here, servers down here.
Can you do me a favor?
Click this button on the top.
Back up a little bit in the video.
Oh, God.
Right there. Deposit right there. So I want to say something about this. So to answer your question, no, I don't do regular drills, but I kind of feel like I should. I did write out a piece of paper to put, and it's underneath that TP-Link router that just says, in case of emergency, you know, just turn this on and turn this off and plug this in. And that's it. And so
if they use it or not, that's up to them.
Yeah, I mean, this is ignoring the fact that if all of a sudden I up and died, I think the last thing people be concerned about is making sure that the internet worked.
So you think?
So I think.
I mean, this
nothing makes you feel better about the loss of a loved one than having internet act. But like I said.
All right. Last question. In the event of your death,
sure,
and them having Wi-Fi as the first priority, do you have price tags on all your equipment?
No.
So when there's an estate sale, they can just be like, oh, this is X price. This is.
I don't know.
No. Okay.
I think that it would be free to a good home. Hopefully my wife would find the strength to find somebody in our YouTube like community who would like
help you.
No. I like give it to them. Like,
this is pretty old equipment. I'll give you $10.
I don't want to sell it because it's like I don't want to sell my babies. What did Raspy say about passing through in Proxmox?
Oh, sorry. I'm not paying attention here. Where's my cursor?
There's a cursor.
Boom.
So passing through in Proxmox is much easier than Unraid. I haven't tried doing anything with Unraid. I will definitely try passing through a Proxmox when I get to the point where I'm testing on it, because that's going to be I want to see how it works. Like my big interest in evaluating XCPNG and Proxmox is to evaluate how much they are like VMware and if they have the same sort of feature levels, because I want that level of features, right? And I mean, Proxmox already has a leg up with VMware in the sense that it can run containers natively because it's Debian foundationally. So I'm excited about that, but we'll get to that when that time comes. But yes, I want to talk about in this video the thing that no one even cared about. Go back to the picture of me in a wig.
The Tech Jesus picture.
Yeah, I do look like Tech Jesus.
Where are you, buddy?
Right there.
Oh, there she is.
But I want to be clear that I actually chose that wig in that style because it's similar to my wife's hair, and because it's supposed to be a conversation between me and my wife. I wanted to make sure that I represented.
I'm sure she appreciated it. If she even saw the video.
No, I made her watch it, and she was not impressed, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
But
all right.
But yeah, so the TP-Link, I haven't fired it up since then, but probably should start up regularly and just update it, firmware updates and whatnot. But it's still there. I thought the concept of the video was a good idea.
No, it is.
What are you guys using for your home firewalls? Do you have a standalone device? Do you use a simple home router? Are you using like pfSense or OpenSense? I know that it's definitely Jason Labs is going to tell me right now in the comments he's using OpenSense and that's the best. And yeah, I mean,
I can think of a few people on our Discord that are a big fan. I mean, use it at work. So
yeah, I will never say that OpenSense is inferior to pfSense. I think functionally speaking, they're essentially the same. The difference is what sort of features do you like about pfSense that you don't get in OpenSense and vice versa, right? Like I'm a huge fan of pf blocker ng. That's a big thing for me. Like a big thing I really, really like being able to do all the things I can with that. And I know there's things you can do But this, I don't know if I can trust you. You went to a D-Link. All right. Can we just ban him?
Yep. Let me hit the ban hammer.
There's
right
the ban
now.
hammer right there. No, I don't believe you for a bit.
Wait, what does this do? Wait, I could do this.
Don't do that. Don't.
Yay,
Oh yeah. You can throw confetti at him.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Next video in the queue. Oh, Storj.
Storj.
All right.
So
I'm not gonna Google it, Jason. I'm sorry. I just imagine like this little box with like 2 antennas and it's blue.
Teeny little, yeah, like the old. I'm surprised you didn't say like the Linksys, the old, like,
yeah.
What was it, like WRT?
The one that everyone had,
or 54,
yeah.
right? That one everybody had. You could run DD word on it. So Storj.
Yes.
That was early on. It's I believe you. I believe it is, and I believe that you have one, and you're probably using it.
As Brandon would say, you're a hoarder.
You're a hoarder. Throw it away. So Storj. Love the concept of being able to get paid for your unused storage. I still run Storj to this day. This video hasn't aged as well as I would have hoped, and the reason being is that like a couple months after I released this video, the Storj company, the organization that's behind it, had to cut back the payout rates because they were artificially inflating the payouts because they were trying to get more and more people to adopt Storj and build out the infrastructure for the global storage network. And then they're like, guys, we can't afford to do this any longer. And they like cut the rates. If you show, I think we have a tab of because I'm still running Storj right now.
Yeah, that was actually my next question we were talking about is.
So open that guy.
What did I? Yeah, what's your uptime rating? That's
scroll to the top. Scroll all the way to the top.
Okay.
This is my Storj dashboard that's running locally, right? And it's been up now. Look at that, 269 days.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, which is pretty good.
Yeah, but if you're down at all, like your rating is just destroyed, right?
It used to be that way, but they've been more understanding. Like I lost if you remember a while back, I lost my my sodium in my host. By the way, I'm done with sodiums. So if you guys are using sodiums, I'm gonna tell you right now, get rid of your sodiums. I just don't think that unless you're buying a brand new one, I just don't think they're worth it. So I lost my sodium, and that took down my TrueNAS scale box, which is what's running Storj. And when that happened, I was down for probably 2 solid days. All my infrastructure's down because it's my storage backend. And I thought, that's it. I'm going to lose all my place, and Storj is going to kick me out. But within a day, they had reaccepted me, and I was back to it. Go back to one more time so you can see it. Since it's the end of the month, you scroll all the way down the bottom.
Is there anything on here like your account or anything I shouldn't be?
No, I don't think there's anything private.
I don't use Storj.
Like there's my wallet address, but that's public. You can't see. But basically, this month I made $7.
Yeah, you can't see it because
our face is on it. But what did you say to me? Did that pay for your electric bill?
Yeah, I was joking. I think in Europe that would pay for the electricity, right?
No, not.
Maybe not. Okay.
No, my SATA. Did I keep saying sodium? Jeez. Yeah, I meant SATA. Yeah. So. Thank you, Jason. Okay. My SATA, my sodium. My sodium SATA.
Watch that sodium.
All the sodiums.
New Year.
I lost my sodium. But
all right. So the next video is get ready to upgrade your storage. Unboxing the TrueNAS Mini R. So we have a Mini X. We love it. We use it for editing. I think I say that every time this comes up.
Yeah.
So what is the only thing what can make it better? And I think it's safe to say, make it rack mountable. This is something that people have been wanting for a long time. Yeah. And this was a fun video because I guess I could play the video. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
They sent it to us. Thank you.
I really thought that I ripped this off. This was a rip off from Pulp Fiction, right? Where he opens the suitcase and the light shines on him. No one really got it. Whatever. I
had a fun time editing that.
Yeah, it was a good time. So yeah, the Mini R, awesome piece of gear, 12 bays, but it's basically a Mini X Plus.
And
so it's not like it's not going to be revolutionary, but who is it recently that just came out with a kind of a competitor, 45 drives, right?
You mean these guys?
Yes, that's right. 45 drives just came out with their 45 Homelab. And so before the show, John and I were and I didn't get one. So thanks, 45 drives. I couldn't really evaluate it to tell you what it was, but comparatively, price wise, they're pretty close, right? Would you say it came out to price difference wise?
Okay, so obviously that's $2,000, and I brought this up earlier. Oh,
it's okay. So it's $100 difference.
Yeah.
And you get a 2U with a hot swappable up front versus I think it's a 4U, right? That's what the 45's Homelab is.
Yeah.
And that's not hot swappable, right? You have to pull out. Maybe, I mean, the drives are hot swappable, but you have to pull it out to get to the drives that are in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that the 45 drives is probably running a bronze scalable. So it's probably got more horsepower than the CPU that's inside of the Mini R. But again, I mean, it's a storage system, so as long as you have enough storage, and they're both running CFS and stuff like that. So I don't know which one you guys.
Yeah, you called it Xeon Bronze. So.
Yeah, it's a Xeon Bronze. And that's kind of the cheapest you can get, right? And it's kind of comparative to it, but while still being server gear.
Yeah.
But the Mini R has 10 gig base T, so it's not SFP, but it's still got high speed throughput, and I'm pretty sure you can, because there's a bunch of connections in the back of that.
Yeah.
The Homelab box from 45 drives, you can add your own 10, 100, whatever you want. But
I don't think we even needed to add a light in there, because that's what it was to us. We're like, yes.
The mystery glow is that your soul. Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, I think that the guys that, because I'm using TrueNAS, I'm a little bit lean more towards TrueNAS's gear, right? The actual IX Systems gear over 45 drives. I know 45 drives has got some pretty great software too. Anybody out in the chat have any personal experience with 45 drives gear? I don't. So maybe 45 drives is watching and they're going to send us a chassis to evaluate. Maybe not. But yeah, awesome. And it's all based on super micro hardware. So like it's solid gear. It's not cheap. And yeah, I liked it. I wish we could have kept it. Yeah, we did. By the way, side note, we didn't get to keep it.
No.
So
sending it back was a hard day.
Yeah, that was a hard thing. I was like,
I had to come comfut Rich.
As I put it back. Good thing we saved all the packaging.
Well, yeah. What are we going to do? Put it back in an Amazon envelope?
Put a sad note on it.
Thanks for sending us this. Here it is in an envelope.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. What else we got here?
Jason Lab got a free Dell T340 and through TrueNAS on it. How does someone get a free T340? I want to know what your hookups are, and please send them my direction, because I would definitely like to have a free T340. That's a scalable too, isn't it, Jason? The 340 is scalable, or is that still a fourth V4 E5?
I'm just getting ahead of myself here.
So, all right.
Spoiler alerts, because I already put this on the screen.
Which one is this?
This is the ZimaBoard.
The ZimaBoard, which is actually back there in the
box.
Yeah, in the box still.
Yeah.
I like the ZimaBoard. I thought it was the first time we had gotten a SBC, like a single board PC, that had a PCI Express slot that was like accessible. You put stuff into it, right? So, and it was a neat package, interesting like design as far as like the wedge shape and the heatsink fins. And that, man, weird thing, I don't tell you this, but like the Ice Whale's name, the company that makes it. We did a couple of videos about it, right? And
I think 3.
Yeah, no, 2. I think it was 2 videos.
Oh.
And like a month later, they contacted me and they said, "Hey, we'd like to know if you'd like a free ZimaBoard to do a review." I'm like, "Lady,
yeah, I forgot about that.
Lady, we did 2 videos about this. I mean, I appreciate it, but I don't want another one."
We're on some list that they don't even have.
Right, but we tested it as a firewall running pfSense, and I remember that Tom Lawrence kind of pinged. It was like, "Hey, this is running a Realtek, right?"
Right.
And there's a lot of talk about Realtek and pfSense.
I think it was this one. Yeah.
Yeah, there is. And Tom's right. Although we have, I think that in John's case, we used to run a firewall for John that had Realtek NICs in it.
Yeah.
And we just downloaded the Realtek driver, the actual proper BSD driver from Realtek, and installed it. And then the thing was bulletproof. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world.
Box, if I remember
right. But the thing is, if you're going to use something like that, then it's, you should, I would say, just like get a network interface card, put it in the slot, build a little box for it, like we did when we tested the 10 gig card, and then just have dedicated Intel NIC PHYs and be good. So yeah. Oh, Brian, I'm sorry to hear that.
So speaking of that, I think, did we talk about that again about the results of us putting a 10 gig card in there weren't exactly the best?
Yeah. That was the next video we did with it, where we tested out an actual 10 gig network interface in the ZimaBoard's 4X PCIe slot. And surprise, surprise, it didn't work. I mean, it worked. It shouldn't say that. The ZimaBoard doesn't, that CPU didn't have enough performance in it, enough clock cycles to be able to handle a full 10 gig synchronous between the ports, which is not a surprise because it's low power. So that's exactly what you're gonna kind of get. But I think it did around 2 or 3. So you could put a 2.5 gig NIC in that thing, or a couple of them, and you could get in 2.5 without a problem. But at the time, it's like, okay, can we do it? Can we push the limits? And we pushed the limits, and it didn't handle it. But again, for a 1 gig firewall at home or a little NAS, if you want to build a mirror storage because it's got those 2 SATA ports on it, right on. Just do it. Build yourself a ZimaBoard. And they've come out with another one now called the ZimaBlade, which they were
all the marketing was very 80s.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know how that, they didn't send me one. We were talking about it, but we didn't end up getting one. Now they've got their Zima Cube, and the Zima Cube is just like,
no, we did not.
No, we did not, but we should. So the long and short of that, Brian, is that got to make sure that you get your pfSense updated. I just rolled back a couple weeks ago now. I made a post about it, but didn't do a whole lot of fanfare about rolling from pfSense Plus back to Community Edition on my firewall, which was, I mean, it worked. It worked fine. It was an okay experience. But the reason why I did it, one, because I didn't want to pay for Plus. I guess the short answer.
That's number one.
Right. But 2, they stopped giving updates for pfSense Plus, and then this bug came out that was affecting these firewall or pfSense, and so I had to do something about it. So I rolled back to Community Edition. It's resolved in, let me look up the version that I've got right now, because I know that it patched in this most recent version that I've got on the firewall.
So the question is, Rich, why didn't we go to OpenSense? I know you and Brian were talking about it a lot, but I'm making a multitask here.
Yeah, that's fine. So I have to look up my firewall name on his. I think I mentioned earlier, I stayed with pfSense, and I like pfSense because I like PF Blocker NG, and I like the package system that we've got in it, right? And
I know this is a constant conversation. We have a Discord with myself, Rich, and Brandon, and I just kind of like do this.
Look,
even if I don't know what they're talking about, I'll be, like lunch break or whatever. And they're talking, and I'm like, let's add some.
let's stoke the flames of why not go to OpenSense. I know that Tom released a video. Tom is pretty big on using pfSense over OpenSense. One of the big reasons is because pfSense is giving back to BSD in the entire foundation in the project. They're actually submitting code, and OpenSense is doing less than that. So I guess if you want to support the livelihood of BSD because you're pro BSD, then absolutely should do it. So I'm on currently 2.7.2 release, and that is patched. So Brian, I'm not sure what version you're on, but it's, as it stands right now, actually there's even, oh no, the thing that they did, oh man, I wish I could show you guys.
There's like a big update last week, wasn't there?
No, so go open up another tab, because I want to show these guys this, because this is the thing that I think this is. I'm not going to crap on Netgate because I'm using Netgate, but I'm not going to crap on it.
Pull the keyboard out.
Get that keyboard out. So
okay, what am I searching for?
Go to the wall, or 0.1, whatever you want to do. There's HTTP on it. When you move from, in my case, moving from pfSense Plus back to pfSense, it's the wall.
Oh.
And then
there she is.
And here, I have to.
Yeah, you don't want to say it over the internet?
I don't want to show. Please don't show me the password.
You're good.
I have to remember what the password is, because.
No, I didn't have it up anyhow.
Good. Don't.
Yeah.
All right. So
is there anything on here you don't want to show?
Scroll down. No, everything here is fine. I've shown this.
I can't scroll down because you have the keyboard. Just kidding. Okay.
Over there.
There you go.
So look at the version, or it says right there. My version is currently 2.7.2, right? Because that's the most recent release version for Community that's got that fix in it. Below it says version 23.909.1 is available. That's not the community version. That is the version for pfSense Plus. And if you install that, you get thrown into pfSense Plus, and then you're back in this stupid loop. So I just think it's a little shady on their part, but nonetheless, you can even see our video output there around 60 megabits a second. How about that? Right out the door. But again, the thing with pfSense the reason I prefer it is my PF blocker NG is something I've just become heavily reliant on because I'm doing geo blocking, so I keep out places that I don't want, and because I'm serving stuff from home, right? I've got things that I'm running on there, things that I want to protect, and so I use that. But I still am a big fan of pfSense, and maybe I will, Jason. Maybe I will actually give it a try. I don't know. What's your favorite? Because you're using OpenSense more at work, aren't you?
Yeah, I use it at work, so that's mainly what I'm accustomed to. It's like you hate to change, you have to get used to it.
Right, yeah, and you know how to do it, and you know how to do it well. So
the big thing I like with OpenSense is it's just the jack of all trades that does everything. And so I feel like you go into pfSense and it's just kind of like, oh, I want to do this, it's right here. And OpenSense is kind of just like, there's just so many interfaces and just things.
So you think do you think that the layout in OpenSense is a little worse?
I'm a big UI guy. I'm not very good at code, obviously. So I like seeing it in an organized manner.
Yeah.
So not dumbed down like Apple does, but to the point that it's incomprehensible of like, oh, I think I need to change this. Where would it be? And when you look at pfSense, it makes more sense to me. And I open up OpenSense, and I'm more familiar with it now. But it's kind of like, okay, where would this be? And I don't know. It's probably just me, but
Jason thinks that the UI in OpenSense flows better. And
yeah, thank you. He worded it way better than me.
Yeah, I feel like you carve a groove in yourself, and as long as they have the same feature parity, then what's the difference? And you guys who are using OpenSense probably have there's an equivalent that you can run in OpenSense to get the similar results of PF Blocker NG, where you can do ad blocking and geolocation blocking, all that kind of fun stuff at the edge. And so someday I should get to it. Yeah. And the thing I will say, actually, let me say one last thing and we can move on because we spent way too much time talking about pfSense, I suppose. I think that pfSense and the UI, while it may not flow better for people, ZenArmor, thank you, Jason. That's the name of that. But I think that the UI in pfSense looks and functions more like what you find in an enterprise firewall from Checkpoint or from Palo Alto or somebody like that. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing because those are inherently complicated by nature. And to be really familiar with it is to be using it all the time. And maybe that's the problem, is that's where I came from. So when I got on, I'm like, this looks easy.
I don't know. It's kind of a weird, like, I feel like companies have two ways of approaching thing. It's like either we're going to make this so complicated that you need to take classes for it and you're never going to want to switch away.
Sure.
And then there's the not easy, but like more, what would be the word? User friendly.
Yeah.
And you just hops in and you're like, well, why would I change? So
that's a valid reason to use OpenSense. Nobody needs complex in their life. I think Brian was mentioning earlier, is like, you're too busy for that, right?
Yeah.
I ain't got time for that sort of thing. So I get it. I definitely do. And Jason is going to try to sell me all day long on this with his ZenArmor and logical. And
ZenArmor, logical.
Yeah.
ZenArmor.
I get it. I know you like it. I know it. I'll give it a try eventually. All right, should we move on?
Yes. Yeah. So that would be the TerraMaster F4-423.
Oh my goodness.
That little box that's sitting in a box.
It's still up here on the shelf. So, should do a giveaway and force that upon someone.
I thought we were going to use it for the next video.
All right.
Oh, we're going to use the TrueNAS for that, I think.
Yeah, I think we're just going to use the storage device. What can I say about the TerraMaster hardware? I think that if there's anyone who's of an older age in this Discord or this chat right now,
it's probably all of us.
Well, maybe all of us. Have you ever heard of generational duplication? Or where you take, like, when I was a kid, I was in high school, they had like a media class and you could edit, right? And you could take a VHS tape and you could copy that VHS tape.
Yeah.
And when you take a VHS tape and you copy that VHS tape and then you make a copy of the copy, you have generational deterioration, right? I feel like the TerraMaster UI and user experience is like someone took Synology and then they made a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. And then you get this like, oh, it kind of works.
So they just have a new employee for every version they have come out.
It's the try hard of user experiences, I think, in this case. I don't know if that's mean to say, but we had a bad go with it. We could not get the thing to do good throughput, to get good throughput and storage throughput on the device. It's neat that it had
a pug.
It had a pug for a background.
Super sweet.
That is a neat thing. Actually, I thought it was cute. I mean, it's definitely different. It does, Brian. It absolutely does look like that. And in the beginning, I remember making this video. I'm like, TerraMaster. Wasn't there there's like a Buffalo Storage had a TerraMaster or something master as well. We should get rid of the masters. We should just have everything should just be like, well, I guess can't do that for Cooler Master because then it's just cooler. Anyway, buzzing.
We're cooler than
it didn't get as great a throughput as I had hoped, and the user experience was less than appealing. But if you take the box and you dump the UI,
I have a feeling I know where this is going.
And you do what with it, John?
I don't know. Install TrueNAS, maybe.
Install TrueNAS like we did. It somehow magically has no problem hitting all of the expected throughput targets. Now, it doesn't have ECC RAM, and I just imagine that there are the purists who say that you should have ECC for TrueNAS because ZFS requires it, because you can have bit flips and lose data, because everything in TrueNAS, when you write to a TrueNAS storage, it goes into RAM first and then it spools off, and they're right. But I think that people have to make decisions based on how they can get the best of both worlds, and ECC typically is only on the server side. You get what I'm saying? So you can get something like this TerraMaster for a deal. It's the steal, but the hardware is fine. Throw TrueNAS scale on it or core and put some more RAM into it, and boom, you got yourself like a perfect little storage system at home.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah.
Price.
So, and it's cheap. Right?
Yeah, I mean, how much does a TrueNAS cost? Oh, I don't know. It's free.
Yeah, TrueNAS. I mean, yeah. So you're not costing yourself anything anymore if you're going to buy the hardware and put a bunch of disks in it. And as we know, TrueNAS does so much better when it has more RAM.
Yep.
So put more RAM in it. More RAM is the answer.
A little foreshadowing there. All right. So next video, I had VDEV layouts all wrong. So speaking of
that, that was a good foreshadow on my part. It wasn't even intentional. As a side note, what are you guys using at home? Throw it out in the comments. I'd love to know what you're using for storage. Are you using TrueNAS? Are you using a Synology? Are you using Windows and doing SMB shares? Like, I'd love to know. So the TrueNAS video.
I was proud of this little animation I made.
Yeah, I remember you. John's the kind of dude who does everything by hand. So every time you see one of those animations, you're like, that's neat.
I have a problem with getting like hyper focused on things. And I think I spent way more time than I want to admit on this. But like this little animation just took way longer than it should have.
It looks good though. And it describes exactly what's our things going.
But the cool thing about this video,
yes,
is you got to talk to this guy.
So Chris Paradon, by the way, he's an awesome dude. I'm so thankful that he took the time to talk to me. So the genesis for this video was I had been running lots of TrueNAS scale and core originally, and I could never get any sort of different storage performance out of building these different VDEV layouts, right? So whether it's mirror pairs or it was like a RAID Z1 or RAID Z2, whatever, I could just never really get anything different. Brian's using TrueNAS scale for all the music and movies, and that's perfect. That's an absolutely perfect setup right there. There's nothing wrong with having a smaller Homelab, really. Like, you don't have to waste the amount of money and time that I do and John does. So that's go for it. But and what did Raspberry say? Raspberry said, actually, TrueNAS scale.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I mean, that dude, seriously. The thing is, if you're experimenting and you're building it out, try it. Because nowadays with scale, I'm getting ahead of myself, but with scale, you can run VMs, you can run native containers through their Kubernetes. You've got your storage. It'll do NFS, SMB, iSCSI. It'll do all of the things. So why wouldn't you try that as a start? And especially if you're rolling your own. Anyway, back to the video, John. Sorry.
Yeah, see, I'm classy enough to put my Celsius in a cup.
No, it's not. And it's warm. Thank you, Mitchell. This is warm Celsius. Thank you very much. Yeah, Celsius spot. Here we go.
Oh, here we go. See, if you had a cup, No,
This is
good
what
job.
happens when you invite your friends to the stream because they haven't seen you in a long time.
Yeah, this is true.
What did Ray say?
What have we got here? We already talked to him. Yep, there we
Yeah.
go. Okay.
Oh, a cluster for main storage. And nice. Awesome.
Very nice.
So Ray, I'd love to know, are you connected via 10 gig with those? How do you lay out your iSCSI connectivity? Let me know, because I'm always fascinated to hear how people build out. Did you build multiple domains since you have multiple boxes, or let me know. I'd love to know in the chat. What was I talking about? Anyway, back to the scale video. So it built all of these VDEVs of varying sizes and shapes and whatnot, and never saw any better performance. I'm like, how am I doing this wrong? How can I do it differently every time? And they still come out wrong. And I thought, okay, well, we have a connection to TrueNAS or to IX Systems because we worked with them for like the mini R video, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like contact them and see if they can talk to me. And so met Chris Paradon, super, super nice guy, took the time out of his day to sit down with me. We use Streamer to do that recording too, and set me straight. And in the end, does anybody remember what the end result was?
There's ramifications to that.
If we weren't a live stream, I'd tell you to go home.
I usually hate jokes like that, but it just popped in my head. Sorry.
There's room for dad jokes on this stream. That was the last one though. That was all the room we had.
That's all I got. I'm not very good at them.
It's RAM. RAM is the answer. That's what the ramifications are.
Seriously.
Add RAM. Yeah. So for sure. That's
Yep.
That's the way you do it.
All right. What do we got next? How to choose your home server. So I thought I had notes for this, but apparently I didn't put any notes in here for it. Oh, here we go. Apparently I can't remember notes to saying this is a great video. That's what a great host I am.
What a great video.
I think this helped a lot of people, myself included, and I'm really hoping to steal this box when we're finally done using it, but it's been very useful.
Right there. It's on
well, we're using it for the next video even.
Yeah.
So it's been a nice little box that you found on. This guy's the champ of eBay finds, let me tell you.
Who is not in this chat right now who doesn't spend at least an hour a day on eBay?
An hour a day?
I mean, throughout the full 24 hours a day, do you not spend an hour on eBay? Look, some people are on Instagram Reels or TikTok and they're flipping through things. I'm on
eBay. All right.
Thumbing through trying to find deals. Just like the 4 sockets that I just picked up for $23.
Yeah, I saw you posting about
that. I mean, eBay is the land
of hoarding things. So.
Yeah. eBay is the land of possibilities, and I love that land. I visit it regularly, and I just window shop. See, Brian's with me. Obviously, Brian's there 100%, and that's just the way it is. So what did Ray say about his setup? Go up one more.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
10 gig redundant connections for iSCSI presented as 120 terabyte LAN. Cool. That's awesome. And I'm assuming that you're probably using vMotion and whatnot to move between hosts, or do you only have, how many hosts you got in your cluster? That'd be another thing to ask. So
sorry, we're getting a little lost.
We're all over the place. Go down to Raspy's comment. Sorry, guys. I love all the questions.
Yes, just
you want to go first?
Do we really want to go down this rabbit hole?
Yes, I think so.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Although I will say that Raspy's going to probably close this when I say that I'm using SmartThings, and I tried very hard to.
I dumped it.
Are you typing on your computer there?
Would you like to type can I have my keyboard? Excuse me. Like I said, I got way too much going on here.
So my first venture into, I like that smash button.
Smash it.
My first venture into home automation was way back in, what was that thing called? Both of us bought. It was maybe by that company.
That we loved the UI, but it was a horrible company that Will.i.am bought.
Yeah, whatever it was. But they
Wink
was the first, and that was great. And then the company went insolvent. Will.i.am bought it, and it went away basically. And I moved to SmartThings, and SmartThings has just been, because I have a bunch of Z-Wave and Zigbee stuff, and so all my automations are done through there. I did buy a home assistant. I was a home assistant. Which one did I buy that I just basically stopped using?
Oh, I had you buy that even.
Yeah, John made me buy it.
Boy, my memory is horrible.
Whatever.
I was going to bring up the controller, but I don't know what it's on here.
I have been using. I had been using. Was it the to try to bridge between those networks and to my Apple devices for HomeKit at the time. It
Home
was,
Assistant?
No, it wasn't Home Assistant. It was, I can look it up. I still have it.
So I thought you were still SmartThings like all the way.
I am SmartThings 100% of the way because that, as you do.
What is the...
No, it's over here. I gotta grab it. Bear with me, friends. Minor stream delay as I. It's under home services. That's where I put it.
Sorry, guys. We're typing instead of
Habitat. John made me buy a Habitat.
Oh,
Habitat.
that's what it was.
And does anybody want my Habitat? Because I just turned it off, and it was way too hard to actually really effectively use.
You can only have so many hobbies. And home automation.
I still love. So I feel different about it. There was a time when we first started making videos.
Sorry, I'm trying to find your address.
And we were making videos, and the first thing we did was get into home automation stuff because John and I both really absolutely loved it. And then it felt like the world ended for smart home, and all the big companies who were really pushing it were starting to basically stop making stuff. Everyone moved to Wi-Fi things, and they had their own, like, there's a TP-Link app, and there's a Wise app, and all these companies making these different disparate systems. I just kind of lost faith in it.
Yeah, we were talking about this for a while. In fact, when we first started the channel, we were talking about focusing on so type in your address. I'm dumb.
What address do you want?
Let's go to Hamdel. So, and then I want to get access to the Ubiquity controller to show what an addict we are. Yeah, we were talking about steering the channel towards home automation before we really found out with the networking, and it just found that it changes weekly, and like some devices just stop working, and companies decide like everyone else, like, oh, we need to get into a subscription service.
Good, John's net.
Where is John's net? Oh, words and ice.
And then Ubiquity's at the bottom.
Okie dokie. Advanced. It's fragmented.
It is still very fragmented. However, Matter does exist now, and more stuff. So Matter is a kind of like a standards body, is the best way to describe it, between all the big hardware vendors, manufacturers, right? And you don't remember the password for that either, do you?
I don't have my keyboard.
Oh, that was keyboard.
This keyboard.
And
just keep it on my laptop.
Yeah. And so most of the new stuff that's coming out today is Matter based or Matter compatible, and so you can get working with that. I haven't spent any time with it because a while back I switched out almost all my light switches with Z-Wave.
Lutron.
Well, I started with Z-Wave. They started to die over time, so I moved to Lutron. And so the Lutron stuff now has been, if you ask me what to buy and put in your walls for smart switches, I would say Lutron.
Lutron, 100%.
They're too expensive. They're like $40 to $50 in a connection, or excuse me, a switch, but they're absolutely worth it.
So this is kind of, I shouldn't even show this because this is kind of embarrassing.
Let's look into John's network.
I have a small addiction to home automation. So let's just go down on my Wi-Fi. No, I don't have a smart washer dryer.
Everything's smart.
Yeah, pretty much everything in my home.
It is. Let me answer Brian's thing. Yeah, it's kind of like an IEEE standards body, but yeah, Raspberry probably knows better. Like the Matter stuff is, I know that at least it's there. Like somebody got, they got these people like Amazon and Apple, and I think that's not Samsung. Samsung kind of divested from SmartThings.
Well, they sold it to
AOTech, right?
Yeah, and then the prices went through the freaking roof.
I still think it's the best one out there, but yeah, it's at least there's some standardization, because you can go on Amazon right now, and for like $25, you can buy like 4 or 6 smart plugs for your wall that are Wi-Fi based, and you have to use a terrible cheap Chinese app that it obviously passes to get in the App Store, but who knows what it's doing and how reliable it will be, and will it work in another 6 months? And that just sucks.
Absolutely.
And that's the proliferation of it. It's like, okay, well, you can just put everything on Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Do you like Homelab stuff or not? Sorry, home automation stuff. Just be prepared to replace it in the future. Yeah. So, and honestly, the only consistent that I've had is Lutron.
Yeah, because you're staying within that homogenous. Yeah,
but they haven't just said, "Oh, we're done," yet.
Right. Well, they make light switches for a business, so it makes sense.
Yeah, they can actually support what they're doing.
Yeah,
but I mean, I've had those forever, and they last a long time. Like the GE ones that you bought, and they just kicked the bucket after a couple of months, and that's General Electric.
Yeah. Well, no, they were made by some other company. Like GE just farmed it out, and then that's what happened to us. And Raspberry, yeah, my because of the way MyQ works, I have only ever just used the MyQ app because I use MyQ for my garage door at home too, and you do too, don't you?
And I'm not a fan of it.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't work that great.
Well, problem is I replaced my garage door opener, and because there's like one big garage door manufacturing company out there, and they basically make all Chamberlain and all that kind of stuff. So you just get it whether you like it or not, and so it's fine.
Yeah, that's right, buddy. Living the dream. Living the dream. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, I've kind of gone away from the hub for now until Matter actually gets their, for lack of better words, shit together, and all these companies get to agree upon something, which we all know will never happen. I'd like to think it will, but it's just there needs to be a standard, and even companies realize this. Yeah. But
I tell people all the time, like, standards bodies, especially like Brian mentioned, IEEE, they're really how we have everything we have today. Without standards bodies where these companies are forced to come together, not forced, but they come together and they work on standardization for interoperability, because that's basically what they are when it comes to like Wi-Fi. Think of all the Wi-Fi chips from that it's in a, like, imagine if the Wi-Fi made by Apple, because this is an iPhone, you can tell me how much it's terrible, whatever. What if it only worked with Apple base stations and APs, right? But the reason why it works with everything is because there's an IEEE standards body that is there to make everybody work interoperably together with everything else. And
this is the company that has the lightning port. And
well, okay, so there's no standards body for power connectors.
I know, I'm just saying though, like, if Apple wanted to.
Way to go, John. You're like, you know what? And that's why Apple sucks. What phone do you have?
The iPhone, which is, I'm not gonna get into an Android versus iPhone debate because
you'll lose.
Yeah. Oh, Celsius. So
Celsius, whatever.
Okay. Anyhow, we could go on about home automation stuff forever, and it's just, you get into home automation, it's kind of risky. You're wasting your time installing stuff potentially. You're wasting your money potentially, and it's kind of just, it's still a nerd thing. And then now that Jeff Bezos left Amazon, like, if you're voice assistant of choice is, I won't say it. Yes. It's like, it's been, it's the thing, Android versus Apple. Like, I feel like the Android people are fanatics, and the Apple people just want a phone that works. So,
I do like Brian enough that I want him to stay in the chat. So
I do too. He's a good dude. I like talking to him. I feel like there's a few people in our Discord that are just like, John's kind of weird. Like, remember Suburban Barbecue? Yeah. I think in the PC chat, we're talking about smoking meats for like 3 days.
As you do.
Yeah, and then Brian would talk about stereo equipment.
Okay, so they already say you prefer Cisco.
Cisco's like the golden standard, though.
You're never going to get fired for using or buying Cisco. But yeah.
All right.
Just don't buy Meraki, and don't get me started on Meraki, because I will burn this house down with Meraki, because I'm not a fan. All right, we're moving. John's moving. Yeah.
All right. So next video. Oops.
Okay.
Oops. I don't know what I'm doing, guys.
Hi. There you go.
Oh, here we go. There's Rich.
So I guess this is a video I could just talk to you about. So it was August of this year. You needed to do an upgrade because you wanted to build out your actual home lab in the garage.
God, it feels like an eternity again.
And this is us. How many live takes do we do? So many live takes. No script, guys. It was all no script. Anyway, so John and I, but mostly John, did all the work to rebuild your home lab and your home network.
That'd be correct.
It's been 4 months. How is it going?
So going off of my memory of this video, I had to laugh because, like, we make videos like this. We're not very good at filming ourselves. We end up just drinking beer and goofing off. And then we're like,
don't tell them the secrets.
Did you film that? No, did you? And then Brandon's just like, this is why I don't help you guys. And then he does anyhow. But there's like a scene where, like, I'm up in the attic and I can hear Rich and Brandon like laughing about something. And I'm up in the attic waiting for my fish stick to come up to me. And I think I actually filmed it, but that's drilling the hole.
Yeah, I was drilling your hole through.
Yeah, I was up in the attic so long and they're just laughing. And I called them. They're like, well, I thought we were waiting for you to do something. But yeah, that was a fun video. I love projects like this. They're just a blast.
So has anything changed in the 4 months?
Besides my lack of cable management? No.
Is that just like how did you keep all of that hanging on the other side of that?
It started out great, and then I actually have some smart plugs on there that when you walk in the office, automatically turns on LED lights, all this stuff. And my wife and I share an office now. And so every time she goes into work in the morning, like all these LEDs and RGB lights up, and then she tries to have a meeting and it's like Clown City behind her. So so she's up here like
a rave in your
where we have
office.
everything. She's like, nope.
Just
Smart plug. Nope.
no,
Oh, another smart plug.
yeah.
See ya. So yeah, that's why it looks like that.
Yeah.
But
so I guess do you want to tell people about the big accident when we did this?
no, I don't.
Okay.
So
You should.
The worst part is I do this professionally, and I screwed up on my own house. Thankfully, it was my own house, no one else's.
Yeah.
But I, again, Rich and Brandon were laughing about something in the office, and I'm drilling straight down, and my house has got some weirdness, and what should have been in between the walls was not. And Brandon was sitting at my wife's desk, and he just starts getting wood chips in his hair. And then Rich is like, "What is going on?" And then I'm drilling, and I can't hear them screaming, "Stop!" And yeah, that drill bit went in between
like a 2-inch thick or 2-inch round hole drill, right? And you're drilling, you're trying to hit the center between the studs in your walls, and just right through your ceiling, just showered everything with
I don't think I have a
we didn't
picture of it.
No, we didn't do it because we wanted, like, this was outside of the
well, it's understandable why I screwed up. Let's just make that very
clear.
I mean, I wish I took a picture of it. It's so stupid.
It's not your fault. I mean, like I said, the way houses are hard, especially when you're upstairs or in your attic, and you're trying to find that one spot. I know that Jason, I don't know if he does same stuff you do. He'll runs cable and stuff for a living.
I didn't realize
and
that,
I imagine that he's probably made a few whoopsies right through into some areas. So
yeah, the only one I've mistake for customers, I mean, I make lots of mistakes at work, but when it comes to customer stuff, I'm like on another level. But I think the one time I accidentally drilled through some drywall into a bedroom because I'm an idiot, and luckily it was just a, hey, I did this, and they're super understanding, and
it's
we just
small, you just put a little
patch on it. Yeah, it's still embarrassing though.
All right, so, I believe you, Jason. I believe that you've never once. I know I have. So that's why I never do finish work. I make John do all the finish work.
Yeah.
So
speaking of that, is the next one.
Hold on. Go back to Ray's comment up there. Ray, what models of Cisco switches do you run or do you have? Are they old catalysts or something newer? I'd love to know. So
anyway, okay, so what is our next video?
But Jason says he tries and checks 20 times. Like, it's measure 20 times, cut once.
100%. Well, in my own house, it's measure once, drill 4.
Yeah.
But on the customer side, I get super paranoia.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. Like, you can always screw up your own house and then no one will know, right?
Yeah, and every house has got its own weirdness. Like, my house is probably 20 generations of people who should not have been DIYers. And on top of it, I'm making it worse. But
yeah,
anyhow.
It happens.
Next video. How I learned to love backups again. So what do I have for this one? I don't even know if I have notes for this. Oh, it's for the Synology backups.
So Synology users, are you using Active Backup for Business? Yes or no? And if not, I want to know why you're not, because it has become my de facto.
Well, Synology makes everything easier.
Sure, but it's like the fact that you can buy a Synology, mind you, it has to be an Intel version, not one of the cheaper ARM versions, but Nexus 9Ks at work. Oh yeah. At home
in his garage.
Like wow, you're deaf, I'm guessing. Yeah, so back to what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh, so the Active Backup for Business. I would love to know why you don't use it if you have it, because I'm gonna make a guess that Ray is using it to back up his VMware stuff, because if not, are you using Veeam or something like that? But I back up everything at home. I back up my wife's PC, both my kids' PCs, my Mac, even though I could use Time Machine now. I've never used the hyper backup stuff. No, it's free, dude. Brian, it's totally free. It's, if you own a Synology, you can
back up.
Oh, yeah, no,
so like at work we use like Backblaze, and you get a certain amount of free space.
Yeah, you can, but that's cloud backup, right?
I know, but you can do it right through the Synology.
Yeah, absolutely.
You already have stuff being transferred to Synology automatically. In addition, you get a cloud. I don't know. I just feel like everything the Synology, for the most part, does is just easy. Like, just no thinking.
The way when people ask me like, what should I buy for home? If they're not nerds like everyone here in this stream and John and I tell them to get a Synology because it's super easy. It's got a really nice slick user interface, and it's just, you know, they can do so much with it. And Active Backup for Business, my primary focus with it was to back up my VMs in VMware, because VMware doesn't have a backup solution like XCP-ng or Proxmox has built into it. I know those are kind of big things about those hypervisors, but VMware, you use Veeam or you use something else, and it just does such an incredible job. And the fact that they have backup agents, guys, I can do bare metal restores of my desktops and physical systems if I wanted to, other physical systems. And I think that that's amazing. Like you don't get that sort of stuff for free typically.
Well, I mean, you are paying, as you said in the video.
Sure. You're paying
but everything's a subscription now. So it's like once you.
Sure. But like that is the caveat with Synology. You have to pay for the hardware, and the hardware is more expensive than it probably should be. Right. When you're talking about what you get with Synology, as far as like the CPUs that are in it, or, you know, the backplanes and the throughput, they are charging a premium for it. And I justify that cost by the user experience and the UI that you get. DSM is just rock solid. And
look at all those apps too.
Yeah. And then all those apps, and there's also Docker functionality. So if you wanted to run Docker containers, you can roll your own. It's fine. But yeah, like I back up my machines every night. All of my stuff is backed up, and I don't know how much more I can say about it. And I will die on that hill that it's, if you own a Synology and you're not using it, then
I feel like he's said that a lot. In fact, a year ago, I think he said that about a company. What did it start with? VM something? Sorry, I had to. Okay.
That was before Broadcom bought it and killed it. So yeah, so Synology, Active Backup for Business, just get it. And Brandon and I are doing synchronizations between our Synologies over, not using Active Backup, but the other backup functionality. And so it does that too.
Well, I seem to.
What did Brian say? The expansion boxes for the Synology are way too high. It's just absolutely. My first Synology, actually, the first 15 bay I had, what was it?
I think it was a monster.
1524 plus, I think is what it was. Yeah, because it was 2015 box. It used InfiniBand to connect to the back to an expansion thing, which was ridiculous. Like, what is a Synology NAS doing with InfiniBand connectivity? But I think the newer ones now are all like mini SAS and SAS shelf connections. But Brian, I wonder if you could use a regular SAS shelf and connect to some of these more modern Synology boxes, or if there's logic in there that says, you didn't say the magic word. So that'd be interesting.
I feel like we need to make that GIF for our live show if we keep doing this.
You didn't say the magic word. And then every time we did it, then James Cameron or whoever filmed that would like get money from us. Now.
Steven Spielberg.
Spielberg, that's it. Yeah. Shame on me for not knowing the Jurassic Park. It slipped my mind, people. Don't hate.
All right, next one is the I'm running out of order here a bit. So I have the Cooler Master up. Sorry, I skipped up 2 videos. So this is just an absurd PC that they sent us, and it's kind of weird because like they wouldn't tell us the price when we first started doing it.
That's right. They were like, they wouldn't tell us outright how much it cost. And it wasn't because they didn't know, because it was like early on.
No, they want us to finish the video first. Like,
yeah, they didn't want us to be.
It's like every day they're like, hey, how's the video coming? How's the video coming? And I know Rich kept emailing them like, what's the price? What's the price? And they're like, hey, is your video done yet? Still don't know the price yet. So we barely got this thing out the door in like the time frame. Did we even get out the door when they wanted it?
It was about a week later.
I mean, we didn't get anything to make this video. We got to borrow it for a week.
Yeah, we had it for more. We had a couple of weeks, but right.
They wanted it back bad too.
Yeah, they did. Well, they had like 3 in North America, and they sent us 1. And Cooler Master, if you're watching or whoever is part of that, I mean, I genuinely appreciate it. It is an amazing piece of gear.
Absolutely.
And like I said in the video, like,
yeah, I'm not trying to hate on them, but that price just cancels out my love for it. But
we don't ever see, like I said in the video, we don't ever see real innovation happening in the personal PC space. Yeah. You got a box, it's got glass on it. You can see the internals. If you're Leon Lee, it's a big cube, or if you're a height box, it's a big fish tank. They're all essentially derivative products. And it drives me crazy that there hadn't been anything unique.
Yeah, I mean, the latest thing that everyone was going on and on about was that the fish tank case.
Right, the height, yeah, the
Yeah,
Y.
and then you got
Y60.
this thing where it's like, what panels with built-in liquid cooling? Like,
Both sides of them are just giant radiators.
Yeah.
I mean, that's bananas. And thing weighed a ton. It
Yeah,
was
it
just
did.
super, super heavy. And it was well appointed. It had a like a 7900 7950X, I think it was, X3D in it, a 3080 GPU. You know, it was just great. It had two terabyte NVMe's. However, ours had two different models of 2 terabyte NVMe's,
Yeah.
which had slightly different specs, and I wasn't entirely certain why they bothered to figure just.
Well, this is like the pre-release. Like this,
Yeah, that's fair.
this was making the rounds between YouTubers. So
Just an incredible piece of gear, and I felt like it was game changing. And I don't know how else to describe it. Like,
and you don't hear anyone talking about it.
no,
like-
because it's $7,000.
Yeah, I mean, imagine how much you get in server gear for your Homelab.
And we,
But-
if you go towards the end of the video, we did like a comparison. And in that comparison, we compared it to something from like, what was it, Falcon Northwest or
I don't think we did. in
Yeah, we
this
did right
video.
there.
Oh, Puget Sound.
yeah, Puget Sound, right? And you know, Puget Sound is like well known for making.
Oh,
these,
they're amazing, but
yeah,
they have no show. It's just all
it's all go.
performance.
Yeah, it's all go.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
We did the math and we built it out as it was, and it was cheaper to buy it from Puget Sound without the liquid cooling and all the this bespoke stuff.
The specs we put on that were insane too.
Yeah.
But
You know, and I get it. Like, Cooler Master is trying to break into this, like, I don't know, this weird kitschy market where you've got stuff like computers shaped like a shark,
yeah,
and I'm sure that it speaks to a very specific customer base, but even that customer base has got to go. $7,000 for this is not worth it.
yeah, and I love the functionality of it, but it's not really flashy. Like, unless you know, it's not even a bragging piece, really.
Oh, I bet it is.
I
But
guess if you have people over for dinner, you're just like, oh yeah,
come check out my
this baby.
all metal computer case that is liquid in all sides. But
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not trying to shit on it because it really was.
I know, and we totally are, but we're not.
I'm just, you can't. I couldn't, in good faith, make that video and not go at the end. This isn't worth it. You can't do it.
Yeah,
You just can't do it.
so I mean, you could like hire someone to sit next to you and build a water cooled build for that price.
Yeah.
I mean, and actually learn how to.
Yeah, you
Build a
can do
computer.
hard piping, you can bend it, all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. So,
what do we got next, buddy?
all right, so let's see here. Okay, I have to be honest. I don't remember anything about this.
The
Umbrel
Umbrel Home.
I-
Anyone else remember this video? Umbrel Home it's on the shelf back over here. I don't keep pointing over there like you're gonna see.
We have the shelf of magical stuff we don't know what to do with.
a single board computer that was designed by the company's name is Umbrel, and it is intended to be a turnkey solution for people who want a simple home server.
Okay,
Like,
I remember this video
yeah,
now.
and
Okay.
it was well appointed. It was fine for an SBC, 16 gigs of RAM, 2 terabyte SSD. You know, great functionality. It had its own bespoke web GUI, which was very reminiscent of Casa OS, which is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a dashboard. Casa OS doesn't own dashboards, right?
Mhm.
So it was just way too expensive in the end. Like, it was $600 for that model. And I will say that I had a great conversation with their founder after I released this video, and he was super receptive to my opinions and comments. And the thing that he was receptive about was like, okay, it's just too much money. You've got a great platform, and on a personal level, I would really love to see that company succeed. We've got to get the price of that hardware down, because you can't expect people. I mean, if you're going to spend $600 or something like that, you could go and buy.
Let me guess, eBay.
You can go to eBay. Have you guys been to eBay yet? Are you on eBay right now?
If you spend an hour a day on eBay, then this video's for you.
Oh wait, look. Let's take a minute and stop.
Sorry.
I want to know if you guys in the audience spend how much time you spend on eBay in how about a given week, right?
What makes me laugh, he's sounding like, yeah, everyone does this, but we've made multiple videos where everyone's like, there is nothing like this on eBay. And obviously they're not spending as much time on eBay as you are. Because we had like, this is clickbait, you can't get it for that much. I guarantee he got it for that much. Just
Every 6
oh
hours.
no, I'm
There
deleting
you
this
go.
comment. This is good. Okay, you guys suck.
Guys,
don't feed the addiction.
That's where is it. Get on eBay. Get on get on eBay right now. You know what's gonna get on my tablet here and get on eBay. Like I see the thing. This is gonna sound so dumb, but because I spend enough time on eBay, I see trends. I see all of these business change trends and everything. At least an hour. Look. Oh,
all right.
That's a week though. That's fair.
All right.
Maybe I don't spend an hour a day, but some days I do.
You've repeatedly said an hour a day.
All right, it's about an hour a day.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I can't help it. I don't buy stuff as much, but I can see trends. Like I can watch the organic trends in the secondary market happen where RAM would get super expensive and then the price of DDR4 ECC memory just plummeted and crashed. And it was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing to see that happen. And then I can buy more. And then the scalables were just too expensive. Like the rent's too damn high. It's like the scalable CPUs are just too damn expensive. And then I watched them crash and, next, it's just, I love that. And there's always a gem somewhere. And when you find that gem, you just feel alive. You feel like you hit the lottery. You don't feel that way, do you?
No, not really.
Okay, we get it.
Okay.
Again, you should try it.
I agree with Brian.
It's better than scratch offs.
What, just finding stuff on eBay?
Finding like the deal on eBay.
Here's my problem. I have this thing for retro computers. You cannot type retro computers because if you're selling anything that says retro, you're going to overprice that thing. So you got to find like specific models. And I can't just, oh no, I did. That must have been a different John.
Oh yeah. I mean, I need some motherboards. So
there's no way I said that. That's got to be a different John.
Yeah, that's spelled differently too. I don't know. I'm just saying, guys. I think it's where it's at, and prove me wrong, I guess. But anyway, what were we talking about? We're talking about
eBay. I don't even know what the video is about now. Umbrel.
Wow. Wow. We're still talking about Umbrel. Anyway, so Umbrel stuff. I think that we should all. I'm not backpedaling. I'm not backpedaling.
No.
I believe it's unhealthy. But if you're gonna have an addiction,
I feel like we need to make a video of you finding stuff.
It'd be so boring because it'd be like the equivalent of like an airplane pilot, where it's just like intense boredom for long periods of time, followed by like just moments of like sheer ecstasy and terror. Like
eBay is your TikTok, is what I'm hearing. Like,
yeah, except I can't share with anybody because if I share, they're like, okay, great, here's the server. Oh, it's can't share with my wife because then she's like, no, you can't have that. You already have to.
I don't know. I was gonna delete that comment.
Okay. Anyway.
All right. So speaking of goofing off and not doing a very good job of filming, we have the Reolink video. So I got a few questions for you about this.
Okay, hit me up.
So my job, we install a lot of these because the price point and the quality of them, like you can't beat. I feel like
they're incredibly affordable for what you get.
Because you don't want like Hikvision, for example, because let's just go straight to China with everything. But yeah, that's what VLANs
are for. Hikvision stuff is on the
naughty list,
the government naughty list too. So in the US, you can't even really.
So what do you go with? And Jason's gonna make fun of me, but like, do you go with Ubiquiti cameras? They're like $1,000 for like the low end one,
or the Synology cameras, which are just absurdly expensive too.
Yeah, I forgot they even started making those. Are these even available yet? We saw those pop up a year ago.
I'll look it up while we're talking.
So. Okay, Jason says not. No, they make great hardware. They're great cameras, but they're literally on a list by the government that they can't be used. So that's my issue with them. But yeah, probably. You're probably right. But actually, something interesting about this. Did you even mention in the video about how it just linked up on your phone?
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that. I didn't mention that video. Yeah, and that's. Jason's right. All these cameras will call home, and the way to answer that, so the
Reolink isn't on the list yet.
Synology bullet camera is $250, and the Reolink is a third of that price. It's like less than $100.
Yeah. All right, I'm totally just shooting myself in the foot here with that comment. Thanks, Jason. So
Raspy's on my side with the look. So there you go.
Malpractice. Like. Raspy sabotaging local clinics. Like, ow, my leg. Okay, so Reolink actually approached us for this video, and again, like for a lot of this stuff, we don't get paid for this, but they sent us free stuff. And you had a really old Wi-Fi camera system that you just weren't digging anymore.
Yeah,
And
I had the what are they? The Arlos.
yeah, there you
1080p
go.
Arlo wireless cameras.
Like the first gen.
And no, they were, I think the whatever. But the thing about the Arlos, which were nice, is that they basically worked anywhere. The downside was I was running around replacing batteries
All
like
the time.
every couple of weeks. And especially the cameras like the ones that watch the front of the house where there's lots of activity, just
They eat the battery up.
yeah.
That's me. I mean, I live on a busy street.
Yeah.
I have the community mailbox is right in front of my house. So I've kind of been thinking doing wire just for that because I have to change the battery out like all the time.
That's exactly right.
But going back to like Real-Link, you get the best bang for your buck. But I know you've had a few issues. Like this camera in particular that they really wanted to send us because we asked for a different one and they're like, no, you need to look at this one.
Yeah, I wanted their ultra wide camera for the front, and they're like, no, we want you to.
Yeah, the one that's got two lenses on it. Yeah.
What do Raspberry say down there?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, they're loud. Yeah, that's a heck of a deal.
Don't you love it when they just leave all the client's information on servers when you take them? Yeah, that's it. Well, Brian beat me to it.
Yeah, like, he can neither confirm nor deny that there was data on there.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna comment on that. All right.
Yeah. So,
Mr. Knight.
yeah, I mean, basically with all of these. So back to your question. Sorry. So they sent us this panning camera for the front, and I've already replaced that camera because not because it had a hardware failure, because it was just doing funky stuff with the software, and no matter what I did, I couldn't make it reliably work. So I had it set that it would follow people. So if someone was walking by the house, it would follow them, and when they left the field of view of the camera, it would go back to a set point, right? And it would just stay there, which was just center of the house. And about 2 months later, something like that, I went to check the cameras just to see how they're doing.
And
it was pointing at the house, and I would reset it, and then 30 seconds later do it. And so I reset it, I powered it off, I removed it, did all these sort of things, and no matter what I did, I just couldn't get it to work. There were no updates for it, no fixes, and so I went and bought another one, not that model, but a different model that does the pan. It's a pan tilt soon, and it's been working fine since. But it's really important that we're talking about this because we're talking about Hikvision or Hikvision, however you want to say it. And the thing that you have to do with any of these cameras is you need to make sure that you spend time and put them on an IoT or an isolated VLAN, like I did in the video. And everybody who's on this stream probably already knows all this stuff because it's kind of like you're familiar with what to do, right? You know that if you're gonna take these cameras that are getting updates and checking and calling home wherever they're calling them, you need to make sure you're securing your network and don't put them on your same network that's got your computer stuff.
And Jason, I have to admit, like, Hikvision has better hardware.
You think?
Yeah. Well, like let's just say that you were going to install cameras on the coast for a client, and
purely hypothetical.
I know I totally don't do that. So while the Real-Link cameras are great, and they've actually changed how they do the reset switch, but it used to just be an additional cable hanging off,
like a little dongle hanging off. Yeah.
Right. And we'd put it in a waterproof box, but then you'd have to also put it for me to like kind of prevent water from getting in there. One, I'll have the mount in a waterproof box, but the reset switch, I'll just put a bunch of caulk in there, to add to the waterproofing. And we have had a few that still have failure due to moisture, and these Hikvision cameras that are ancient that are out there are still just chugging along. Like you need to open them up and clean out the glass casing and everything every once in a while, but and I don't think you've had any issues besides that one camera.
No, the rest of them have been I find. I mean, the thing that I was surprised is that like these cameras are like, especially the one that's on the screen right there, that 12 megapixel. I think it's like $100, maybe something like that. And when you take it out of the box, you're like, I can't believe how much this weighs. Like you feel the weight of the exterior of it. It feels very like.
And the price was really decent.
Yeah, and it's super cheap.
Yeah, you should see this monster that's like 2 models above that I've shown you for work. It is badass. It really is.
And Jason, yeah, absolutely. The way I did mine is my cameras can only talk directly to the NVR, and that's it. They can't talk to anything else. You're drilling holes in my house, man. That's stressful. Drilling holes in your house, guys. Is that not the most stressful thing you do? Is like drill a hole in your house. You're like, please God, I measured twice, measured 3 times.
Okay, that was my next question for you. Like, I did all the cable runs in this,
Yep.
and you're a very good friend. Like, were you happy with them? Are all the runs
Yeah,
good?
the only thing that we did that was a mistake, and it's on my part, is I wanted all the cables. We showed a little bit in here, but I made John tidy up all of the cables because they're running on the top corners in my garage, all of them, and I wanted them to be tight and sexy and look good, and I didn't want anything goofy or loose or nasty. And so the one that was replaced on the front of the house, I had John pull everything tight. But that meant when I needed to replace that camera,
that was totally my fault. I didn't put a loop in. That's a total amateur mistake.
On the outside, you mean?
You put a loop in there, one for drainage,
drip loop, right?
And then two, like if you ever want to, I don't know, move it a bit.
It wasn't that big of a deal because I just reran it, out the same hole, and I gave myself a drip. Drip loop.
I also used way too much caulk on that hole. So then Rich calls me. He's like, dude. I even commented up on the ladder. I was like, just let you know, this camera is not going anywhere. And then like 2 weeks later, he's just like, hey, so I had to take the camera down.
I think it was months. It lasted a while, but I would still recommend the Reolink stuff. And if I had the money, like to racing, if I had the money, I would definitely look at the Unify stuff.
I'd love to play with it. I haven't even had my hands on it,
but it's just expensive.
All the high-end cameras are, though. That's why, like Jason's saying, the Hikvision and me, the Reolink.
I wonder, do you have that same issue with the Unify cameras that they will call home, or do they only talk back to your NVR, which is typically like a like Ray? Do you know? I'd be interested to know if they're making calls out.
I've never used them. Sorry, microphone. So I'd love to play around with it. Just, I don't know. The thing too is like Unify has a really weird scheme with everything. Like not everything works with their main interface. Like they got the UI spot for like the bridges, and then there's another one for like their security. Then there's the I don't know. I wish they would consolidate all their stuff into one thing.
The one thing I did want to talk about with is like when we got this package of cameras, John said, hey, you got the NVR. You should do a comparison video between the Reolink NVR and the Synology NAS. The Synology, what's the camera software called in Synology?
Protect.
Yeah. No, that's what Reolink calls it. Or isn't Protect what Unify calls their stuff? Synology calls their something else. Anyway.
Sorry, I said Unify.
Surveillance station, right? That's what it is.
Thank you.
And I went to look and see how much the license is, because you have to license more than one camera from Synology, and it was like $500
for like 10, right?
Yeah, and they sold them in like packs of 10. I'm like, no, can I just buy one camera?
Here's the advantage of doing that, right? Is if you had a business and one, you need a lot of storage, and two, you're not sure if you're gonna like these cameras in the future, or you decide to switch to something else. Synology supports like everything. So you could have a mix of cameras, or you could replace all the cameras and not have to switch out your NVR. So that's the real advantage of it. That it can be used for a file server and everything. You're not buying two different. Yeah, I've actually been looking. I need to look in the Blue Iris. I've been thinking about switching just a few of my cameras over.
Oh yeah, you mean for home? Yeah. To self-host it, right? Yeah, I've heard good things about it. I know that a friend of mine's using it for his Reolink cameras actually, but I don't know. I got the NVR, and the NVR has been great. Like I can't really complain. Ray says I can buy. I guess Ray, that's one thing
so one license on here that just pops up immediately is $52 for one.
Yeah, that's what Ray just said in the chat, and so that's fair. Like
beat me to it.
But if you do that, and I have to buy 4 of them,
then I get it.
I mean, that's still cheaper than buying a 10-pack, which was.
It's like the Synology is a bit of like future proofing, but I'm talking for people who already have it. Like or it's a business where like you want to have a little bit of flexibility and not worry about it doing in the future. For home use, I feel like if you already have a Synology, that's probably the way to go, depending on who you are. I mean, obviously it's a hard sell for the price, but I
think you sold it well by saying if you have a bunch of mixed models, right? That makes sense.
Or you are close to a doctor's office that closed for mispractice. You could,
for malpractice and all.
I mean, I'm sure they have all kinds of random cameras in there.
Raspberry pulling cameras off the ceiling next. Sorry.
All right. Sorry, Raspberry. I'm just joking.
All right. So we ended up just kind of skipping on the idea of doing a comparison because in the end, that I hate to say it, but the Reolink NVR works really well. It just works well. And it's in my IoT network. It has 2 connections on the back of it. One goes straight into my essentially a isolated VLAN that just the cameras exist on, and then it goes out. The LAN side of the NVR connects to my IoT network, and from there, that gets out to the internet, and it can only go straight to the internet. It can't talk to anything else. It's kind of
Yeah, you actually
isolated.
did a really good job of
I
all this
hope you guys
together.
like when I would love to get feedback. I hope you guys like when I do these sort of diagrams where I explain network flows.
I think they're great.
Because you and I think they're great because
I mean,
we make them.
we made them. They're freaking great.
But because it doesn't matter that I'm using pfSense, or you can be using any firewall. It doesn't matter what it is, but the flows are the flows, and that's the concepts behind them are what's really, really important. I think, like making sure that the stuff that's there is stuff that you want to be connected. And yeah,
this is another video where like we didn't record half of it, so this comes back to you and I
people
goofing
really
around.
care about this is Jon on a
Installation.
ladder, 15 minutes into Jon hanging cable.
And I just had to laugh though, because like I'm editing this and it's like, we didn't shoot anything in the garage, we didn't shoot anything in the front of the house. I mean, the video worked out. Again, you don't want to watch a whole camera assembly or installation, but
I don't think people really care about.
I just find it amusing that every project we do, we have like no footage. But
guys, look at the ground. Look how the sky is like the lighting is like all yellow. That was
during the fire
season.
Yeah,
in Oregon where we live, and so
your brand new crimpers.
Crappy outside.
Yeah,
but whatever. Anyway, moving on.
That is it, sir.
What?
Do you think I'm missing something?
No, I think we have.
Oh, TerraMaster is what we skipped over.
No, we talked about that, but we've also got
Cooler Master, Umbrel, Synology, Jon's Home Network, Honeypot Video. Did we miss that?
Oh yeah, we got the Honeypot Video, and also there's the Homelab video and whatnot too.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm not a very good host. Obviously,
you're doing a terrible job. Get out. We didn't talk about the iKOOLCORE videos too.
Oh my gosh, did we talk about the? We talked about that.
Pull up the one of the iKOOLCOREs.
I thought we did talk about that.
No, I don't think we talked about that.
Okay, I'm just gonna click on that. It's right here.
Yeah, go to the R1 Pro or the most recent one, the R2 video that we just did, which is right there. Home server.
This guy?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I'll throw that up there.
I have like a million tabs and none of the ones I need.
Yeah, none of the tabs you need.
Boom.
So iKOOLCORE, I bought I found the iKOOLCORE R1 because it was on a William Lamb, who's a very well-known, he still works for VMware by Broadcom, or I guess he works for Broadcom now, but very well-known in the VMware world. He made a video about this iKOOLCORE R1 at the time that had enough power, had 4 2.5 gig base T connections on it, so you could run ESXi. And I was like, well, I want this. Like, let me see. We get a lot of flack from people in the in the video comments because power. Look, I live in Oregon, and my power currently is around 11 to 13 cents a kilowatt hour,
and he only pays $2,000 a month.
No, my Homelab, the whole rack, the whole cabinet cost me about $70 a month, and I guess I can say that's a lot of money for a hobby, but it's actually not too bad. It's a passion of mine. You guys tell me what you spend if you know what you would spend on yours, especially Ray, because I know he's got a cluster and all that kind of stuff. So I'd love to know how much if you've done the math on it. But at any rate, so I spend about $70 a month on my storage, or excuse me, my Homelab as far as electricity is concerned. And the iKOOLCORE little cubes of all that connectivity and good performance, my whole, like, it was the first time I came across something. I was like, you know what, maybe I could run these and have a small cluster, still have the storage backend so I can do vMotions and migrate my workloads back and forth. But honestly, it was the first little SBC that I thought I could see, like, people run these Proxmox clusters that are small and lightweight, and you don't get that with VMware. With VMware, you typically are in for a penny, in for a pound when it comes to like buying like more high-end stuff, because VMware has a limitation on the supported hardware. They're very restrictive on what they call their hardware compatibility list, and so you get in this situation where you're like, okay, well, I can't use these because he's afraid to look. Well, you're in. So if you're paying more than I am, I know that
doesn't live in our area.
The East Coast I know is paying a lot more for power than we are. At any rate, so I saw this iKOOLCORE and I bought it. Instantly bought it. And right to and when it finally showed up, I was just so thoroughly impressed with it. And, ever since then, we've gotten the R1 Pro, which is basically the same guts as an R1, but has a better cooling. This is the R2. The R2 is basically the R1 Pro, but it's got a better CPU and a little more modern CPU. Although they pulled some shenanigans in the R2, and in the R2, because they needed to make enough lanes for the wireless slot on it, they put a USB connected 2.5 gig Realtek on this. So you have 3 2.5 Intel PHYs and then 1 USB 3 connected.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and it still works. Like, you can pass it through if you want to a VM. There's a lot of things you do with it. It's not a deal breaker for it, but it was definitely an interesting change that really didn't get communicated by them when it came to what you saw. Like, you saw that you had this thing, and they made, let's be clear, they made notes in the specs about it, but one of the big things that they talk about is how it's fully compatible with VMware, right? But it's not technically the case because VMware doesn't support USB connected network interfaces. There's a fling that you can install that will let you get access to them, but I mean then that's me showing which ports are which. But it still a fantastic box. In fact, the R1 Pro, which is was the middle video that we did about this, is Jon's firewall for his pfSense.
Yeah, and it was overheating this summer. But...
Well, we flipped it over. I mean, yeah, your garage is like 90 degrees and it's got a really tiny heatsink fan on it. But
the trick is to put it upside down, and it worked great.
Well, because it's blocking those airflows, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
the firewall, my previous firewall is actually a stand for this one. So
you can throw away your old one. So I still like them. And I have that one in the box. I don't know what to do with it, but it's I'm assuming that most YouTubers, as they get free stuff, it just sits on a shelf. I don't feel cool. Like, I'm not one of those kind of dudes who wants to sell it. I don't feel cool or okay with selling
stuff we get for
that we get for free.
I completely agree. And honestly, like, we never knew if this channel was really going to take off, but we really knew we wanted to play with some cool hardware, and all these companies have allowed us to do that, which is amazing.
I don't like. I know there was a while back some of the YouTubers, bigger YouTubers who get like PC hardware were reselling their sort of stuff. I just don't. I'm not cool with that. That's just not my thing.
Got a few YouTubers I like following, and then they have this garage sale deal, and it's like that just feels a little weird.
I mean, I don't know. It's teach their own. It's not against the law. It's not against the rules.
No, I mean, it's their own policy. Yeah. This is ours.
Yeah. I have given away quite a bit of hardware to people because I feel like that's kind of paying it forward to someone else.
Yeah.
Right. And that stuff I'm cool with. And we've done giveaways on our Discord. Are you on our Discord, Jon?
No, I'm not.
Well, not right now.
No.
Get on our Discord, guys, because we'll do giveaways occasionally and give away some of this hardware that we get because I'm not going to sell it because it's not cool. Anyway. I don't know if there's anything left to say about that. Let's move on.
I know we just kind of talk in circles.
Yeah. Let's go talk about the last video that we're going to talk about.
Boom.
Is my Homelab, the thing we were just talking about, the thing that costs $70 a month. And I guess we're getting a power hike this year in Oregon. Oh. So it'll cost me $120.
Got to put those solar panels in that never get sun.
Yeah.
Only because we live in Oregon.
But so yeah, I obviously someone had said scroll down. There's someone who made a comment in this video, and the comment was just like, "This guy is too much. Like, this is too much. Put some of that back." Yeah, this guy's on another level, right? This that one. And I was like, "No, you should whatever works." Like that, I want people to enjoy the hobby and not be like, "Oh, this guy's."
There's another video we did where we referenced this, and Rich and Brandon, I got outvoted on it, but when I edited it, you know that scene of Spaceballs where like the ship is on the screen for 5 minutes,
right?
And it's got the bumper sticker in the back saying "I break for nobody" or whatever. Like, I wanted to do that with his server, but like, you can't have a 5-minute long introduction to my server. I mean, and I thought it would have been hilarious, but I can definitely see the logic for not allowing me to do it.
Yeah.
So
what has changed? So since this video was made, I am now using the 25 gig ports because on eBay, Jon, have you been to eBay today? On eBay, you should go. Everybody should get on eBay after this. On eBay, the cost of Mellanox Connect X4 2 25 gigabit Connect NICs, have come down a lot. Like enough where I could buy 4 of them because I needed 4 of them. And I think they were like $35 a piece. Yeah, right. I love a chassis with two systems in it. Like, and I like how they're not truly blades, right? Because like a blade has a real backplane, and you slide them in, and there's no interfaces. They're just entirely servers, right?
Yeah.
And so you can. I want to see if I can upgrade the motherboards in them and see if the connections to the storage array up front will still work.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the problem is it's SAS connected, but it's just SAS connected, so it's fine. Like, I'm sure the backplane might support, excuse me, SATA connected, not SAS connected, but that's the thing. But yeah, VPN question: is speed slowed down when using? Click on that guy.
Yep.
Off a router that doesn't matter performance. So what you're going to find, Calvin, the answer I would say to that is your VPN speeds are going to more depend on what your endpoint hardware, not the client necessarily, but like the concentrator itself is using for encrypt and decrypt. What we found using VPN, like IPsec tunnels, or now this isn't like, let's not make sure that we're clear. I'm not talking about like Tailscale or WireGuard. Those guys do a much better job of getting closer to line speed, if you will, between client and server than say more traditional VPN connections like a SSL VPN or an IPsec tunnel, those sort of things, but are heavily dependent on whether that concentrator or the thing you're connecting to from your client has enough encrypt, decrypt, or CPU performance to be able to really handle that. So, you know, if you're looking at something like, if you're saying like PyVPN, like you're running off of Raspberry Pi, you're going to have much less good throughput on that than you would to say something that's more higher performance. So I hope that hit me back here in the comments and let me know if that's something that answers that question. But yeah, it's deal with that. Like Brandon and I have spent a considerable amount of time with pfSense back and forth, because John and I have a tunnel between our place. I've got a tunnel at Brandon's place.
And it saturates my internet. So.
Yeah, well, you have a 500 megabit connection, so.
Yeah, Mr. 1 gig here.
I have 2 gig. I have 2 gig, guys. Anyway, sorry. And Brandon, I think, has got 2 gig too. But we hit a wall around 2 to 300 megabits a second. And the problem that we see is that IPsec in our firewalls, because we're using IPsec, are highly dependent on the CPU's single threaded performance. And if you were to go and if you had Intel actually sells accelerators that will do encryption, decryption work. And the newer scalables, you can buy them with it enabled inside the CPUs. And when you get that, yeah. So it depends on your VPN concentrator, right? If you're talking about something like a Cisco AnyConnect or something else, they will tell you the specs. And you can actually, dude, here's what you do. Get whatever concentrator you're looking at or whatever VPN product you're looking at. If you look at their specs, they'll specifically tell you what their maximum throughput for their VPNs. John, pull up the Netgate 6100 on a tab. We'll look at it real quick.
Yeah, I got what screen am I looking at?
That one. Boom.
Oh yeah.
Tabs for days. Keyboards. So all of these manufacturers will tell you what their expected throughput is, and you can tell really quickly where you're going to find your bottlenecks with it. John's going to pull up the 6100 specs here. You have to accept that or decline it.
Let's just keep the cookie alert up here on the screen.
Okay. Throw that up on the screen.
Which one do you want here?
Just that. Throw that one up.
All right.
And hide that comment.
I'm gonna hide you, Calvin. Sorry, sir. Okay.
So if you scroll down, so right there, the 6100 will do 1.7 gigabits a second on a VPN concentration. So that is aggregate. So what I mean is, like, if you have one device, you can, think of it like if you have one VPN client or 100 VPN clients, you have that 1.77 in this case gigabits of total bandwidth. You don't get like another 1.7 gig or another whatever, right? So that's a key differentiator, and all of the hardware manufacturers will tell you what they have. 1.7 gig on VPN connection is flying. I'd love to have that, but I also don't want to buy a 6100 because it's quite expensive. But hopefully that
I heard eBay might have something for you. So.
Yeah, right. Go to eBay. Guys, have you been to eBay today? Did I say that enough? Go to eBay. Anyway.
Chills, maybe. Shill. Sorry.
I'm not a shill. I'm not a shill. I love eBay for server stuff, mind you. Let's be clear. But yeah, maybe that helps. But those will be your most quickest way to find out what's going to give you the best throughput. IP reservation question for addressing IP addresses of servers, printers, servers. So it's gonna like let's ignore I'll give you my spin on this because that's what you're smiling at.
Sorry, can't help. I was just in my head. Here we go.
Yeah, John's like, oh god, here's go. I don't think we can separate the gateway level endpoint or both. Let me just tell you the what I think is the most appropriate thing to do. If you have servers or if you have things that are serving things, whether that's a printer, well, printers don't matter as much anymore because of like Bonjour and all these other broadcast services, but specifically like servers or services that you're running, always give them static addresses. If you want to use DHCP as a means of managing your IP address space, so you want to know what's where, and you can just look at DHCP to do it, add your static entry to, give your server, whatever it is, a static IP address, and then create a reservation in DHCP so you can go to DHCP and look and see what it is. But it's just like servers need to have statics. If you're going to do a reservation, we go through the effort of putting a reservation for something so that when it comes back up, it just gets the same address. Why not put a static IP address on it, right? Clients all day long, DHCP, doesn't matter, right? Those things, they're supposed to be ephemeral. They're supposed to move around. You would expect them to come and go. And when they do, that address can go to somebody else. You don't need to, it doesn't need to be static. Yeah.
Okay, a few more questions here.
Yeah.
I'll say first, you just make a VLAN with one thing on each and it just gets the same address.
There you go. Makes sense. Appreciate that. Yeah. It depends on the hardware. Yeah. Yeah. If you had some really badass piece of hardware that you could do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Search on itself, just packets versus. Yeah, sure. But again, something has to convert those packets and decrypt them, right? And that's where the rubber meets the road with all that kind of hardware. Is it? Yeah. You can send us get on our Calvin,
Discord.
Join our Discord, and we can have a more lengthy conversation about it. I'd be totally happy to talk to you some more about it. That you can get the full question out versus the chunks of on here. But yeah, great question.
Yeah, we really need to use our voice channel some more.
But. Yeah, more voice channel stuff. And Jason, I hope that that answers your question. If not, then let me know about that, right? Because I want to make sure that I fully understand. You're not a Discord user.
You could be. We could be the only channel that you have a subscription to.
MS1. Let me look real quick. So the short answer to your question, Christopher, is no. But let me just look at it real quick because it sounds very familiar to me. Oh yes. Oh yes. I912. There you go. So I have not used it, but actually I did just, that's why it sounds familiar to me, is I did just see an advertisement for it a while back. $700 for an i9-12900H.
Wasn't Brandon talking about this?
Yeah, I think Brandon was making posts on it. It's nice and tiny, but they're only selling it with an OS. Interesting.
I was gonna see I just had stats, but
glad I could help, Jason. Appreciate it. So I have not, but we can look at the specs of this guy, and the specs are just.
Here we go. There we go.
Although, if you scroll down, the specs show just dual gigabit ports. Oh wait, there's also, dual Ethernet and then dual 2.5 gig ports. Show me the back of that device. Show me the pictures.
No. Well, look at there we go.
Okay, so it's got SFP cages. Oh, those are 10 gig. I can't read. Jesus.
Well, it is small.
All right, so that's nice. I'm gonna have to get one of these things. 3 NVMe support. Wait, look, Christopher's getting me ideas, and I'm gonna go spend some more money. Yeah, I see that, Calvin. I just saw that. And it's got a standard PCIe interface on it. It doesn't say what the interface length is. It's probably an 8x. Does it show it somewhere in the pictures further in? All right. Well, that one's going in my cart to buy. Thanks, guys.
I don't think eBay has these yet.
No. Yeah, I'm just not gonna be able to get them off eBay. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. So I pointed out.
It's Jason. I think it's more. I mean, it would make a great firewall for sure, but it looks like a great virtual host. Like it'll take a U.2 NVMe and how many is it? Three M.2s in it with each slot, maximum capacity of 2 terabytes. Ooh, baby. Both RAID 1 and RAID 2. So you can get mirroring on it or striping. Yeah, those guys, those guys that serve the home, they always get the great gear first. I love it. Good guys too. Good guys.
All right, what else you guys got?
More questions. No questions are bad questions. Only terrible answers from me today. Scroll back up. Let's look at that U.2.
What are we looking at?
Scroll back. No, scroll down a little bit. Right there. Oh. Look at that U.2.
Sorry, our picture of our faces is kind of in the way here.
Let's scroll down just a little bit so it's right above me. No, the other way. I want to see the picture of the U.2.
You say down and I go down. Fine. That's okay.
I get it. I wanted to see the U.2, but yeah. Yeah, I think you have to buy it direct from them. Let's see. Yeah, they sell it off their website. $700 though is quite a bit. Like you could probably end up with a bigger chassis with a consumer CPU. And this is an H variant, so it's going to be a little bit more lower power than like a full desktop CPU. You just clicked off it. I wanted to see that.
Nope.
Nope. Fine.
That's gone.
John's like, nope, can't do it. Yeah, that is USB 4. It's got 2 USB 4 Type-C ports on it. 40 gigabit total. That's flying. Yeah, this would make a hell of a Plex server, wouldn't it, guys?
Those 8K movies, like.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they some like Calvin said, throw a GPU in there, you could do your. Right. Got to unblock China on my UDM. Yeah, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, I was going to say, as a side note, because we didn't talk about it, but when I built that honeypot and put it on my network, so I use
I forgot about that.
On the West Coast here, I use Ziply. They were Verizon Fios, and they sold to a company called Frontier, and then they were sold to a company called Ziply, and they give great service. I have no complaints with them. You get 2 IP addresses with your connection. So, and the idea is like, oh, you have one connection, you need to plug in a new router or a new modem. Poof, there you go. And then now you've got this, you got a new IP address, you can shut down the old router. So you can only have 2 concurrently. I got that IP address that I plugged the honeypot into blacklisted everywhere because it looks like it's a malicious device, because it'll just accept connections and just let you like, oh, you want to have an SSH connection open, feed it some fake creds, it's going to do it. So it's not good for a home run like sort of setup, but it was just amazing. So it got blacklisted everywhere. So Calvin said USB 4 doesn't mean all of the specs though. Thunderbolt 4 means all the specs, but USB 4 can pick up. Yeah, that's you're 100% right. That's 100% true. I just get excited about the 20 gigabit throughput on that. But there's also, like, you guys know that with USB cables, that the cables these days have to also meet the specs to get that good throughput, right? You can't just have one of these, like, I'm grabbing off the desk here, like, oh, this looks good, right? This is, or like the charge cable, this is USB-C to A. And so it's probably a USB 2 cable, but like you have to have these really thick, I don't even have one to show you. And they have bend radiuses, stuff like that you have to like, it's just, I used to work at a company that did testing for USB throughput, and they'd go to these, what they call plug fests. And at the plug fest, they would test different manufacturers' USB devices, right? And it was just amazing to see how many of them didn't actually pass spec. And they were still in development. So it wasn't like, oh, we're selling this, but it was just like, oh, wow. Yeah. That cable, when you took, I had a guy who was on one of the oscilloscopes showing me that if you take like a USB 3 cable and you have it connected and you're passing data through it and you start to bend it, it impacts the throughput.
Crimping the hose.
And affects it. Yeah. Even though we're just talking about electrons over copper, but when you start to do that, it caused impedance and issues with the Ethernet or with the copper on this. It was just amazing. So yeah, John asked a question. You guys, anything you want to see in 2024 from us? You know, that's John's showing a video.
Yeah, while we're waiting.
Oh, Yeah. I was really in love with that
image. I know.
image, and no one liked it. I was like, okay.
I think I used it in a couple other videos too. Where's my?
Oh yeah, we go.
cursor?
So we go back to Brian, who's first on there.
Nope. We'll come back to you, Calvin.
Did you ever do any videos explaining clustering for idiots? What kind of clustering are we talking about? You talking about virtualization clustering or clustering for like Proxmox? Like, hit me up with what specifically. Oh, Ray.
No,
Ray,
you're skipping ahead.
Ray,
Stop.
Ray. Anyway, Brian, sorry. Hit me up with what sort of clustering you want to talk about. Because, you know, whether we're talking about Kubernetes or we're talking about like traditional virtualization, I'd love to know. And then we did some stuff. Actually, I did very little stuff with VMware on it, because the problem with the virtualization side in VMware when it comes to doing clusters is that you need to have a vCenter license and either be paying for VMUG or something like that. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, that's a great idea. I'll definitely add that. What was next from Calvin there? VPN.
Where'd you go, Calvin? There you are, buddy.
Between router is concentrated in another box and VPN is concentrated. Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea, just to show what, you know, passing through a device will do to the throughput, especially if you're, you know, if you've got an endpoint versus something that's inside, right? And I think that's the crux of it. That's a great idea too, Calvin. It'll dovetail nicely into our previous conversation there.
All right.
What did Jason say? Mocha. Oh yeah, you know what? Who did a Mocha? Like, I don't know if Jason's Labs is still on here, but he did a Mocha video a while back. I have tried to stay wired base T Ethernet as much as possible, and man, I should do some home Mocha stuff, because, all right, I have a family, I got kids and that kind of stuff, but I don't have, this house is old enough that it didn't have Ethernet built into it. They used Ethernet. They used Cat5 Ethernet for telephone.
Yeah.
So they just like split off of it. But we have cable TV throughout the house. So I should test it out and see. I hope I didn't cut all those. They're all downstairs.
I'm sure you cut all along.
Oh, don't say that.
I did in my house.
Great idea though, Jason. I appreciate it.
Okay, I don't even want to show this question. So we are just gonna do
Ray,
this.
Let's come back. I'll just say one thing to Ray, because I think that Ray's really onto something. Ray, if you want to check the YouTube channel, say tomorrow, that will answer your question in full. And you know what? I want to talk about it so bad, but
we're not going to.
We're not going to. John's not letting me. So, but can I just say, like, sad day? Can I say sad day?
I mean, Brandon called it, and you were arguing with him because you're a cultist with him. But...
I'm not a cultist. Look, it's not wrong to have a favorite, and you know, Brandon has called me out many times for being a VMware fanboy, because I spent most of my professional life working in VMware data center stuff. So yeah, it's sad day, but moving on. Check it out tomorrow. We'll drop the video at like 9 a.m. Pacific time. So I got to work out a thumb. Thumbs are my nightmare. It's tomorrow somewhere. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. What kind of, let me ask you guys a question in the audience. What sort of hardware are you excited for seeing in 2024? Is there anything that we should be looking at? I know that Intel is announcing new server chips. They're supposed to land in 2024 that will have like native AI built into the silicon, so that you can do your inference and stuff on the CPU versus having to have a bespoke discrete graphics card and whatnot. But yeah.
Excuse me.
The problem with Mocha networking is the inconsistent speeds you actually get versus theoretical. That's Calvin's right. That's. But at home, I think it depends on how many Mocha devices you're using in the house, right? If you have if you're just going to point A to point B, you have relatively okay, as long as you're not also dumping like Comcast or cable television on top of it, Comcast or any other cable company, right? But anyway, so I'm excited about those Intel chips that are coming. They're coming.
New chips are always fun.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at some other stuff we got going on here.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically Ethernet frames over coax cable, which means it's turned from baseband. Well, I'm going to get super nerdy. Ready for some nerd talk? Okay. Ethernet is sending electrical pulses that are encoded for the packets that are, it's a packet-based thing, right? Mocha is converting that to frequencies, like because cable modems or cable internet is what they call broadband. So there's a whole bunch of different frequencies on the wire, and those frequencies carry multiplexed amounts of data within them, depending on the speeds of those. Listen to me nerd out here. But so Mocha allows you to basically send standard Ethernet frames over a coax cable, the same way that the cable companies do. Mocha is I mean, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, guys, but like essentially Mocha is kind of the way that they're, the cable companies are doing packet-based Ethernet through it. But what did Calvin say?
Sorry. Boom.
One more down.
There he is.
Been deploying new chips this year, but the MPU chipset. Yeah, another question for the audience. You guys interested in seeing more AI, like self-hosted AI stuff for in the Homelab? Because let me know, because I've been playing with it a little bit, but I've also been really enjoying GPT-4. In fact, the
bumper,
not the bumper, but the thumbnail for this was made by Dolly 4, which did an incredible job. So, but yeah, the problem with Mocha is that anytime you have anything that would impact the quality of that cable or the distance, you get bad performance. So it's kind of like, you guys ever used Ethernet over Powerline Ethernet? Have you ever used that stuff?
I've had a few customers like try and play around with it, and then we end up just installing Ethernet.
Yeah,
I'm sure in some buildings it works. But
the answer is, oh, you want to try to use Powerline Ethernet?
You're it's like what they do first, just out of curiosity, and then it doesn't do with the box
because it's cheap. Yeah, you can go buy like a Netgear Powerline Ethernet.
That was developed by a university in Texas, wasn't it? Like 25 years ago.
I remember when I was a kid that the power companies, there was a news article where the power companies will be the next ISPs because they just ship your internet over like the power lines, but it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it comes the same people who use battery backups for clean power. But...
Yeah, Calvin's right. I mean, that's why I don't use cable. That's for sure.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah, the Mocha's inside of a house where you've got RG6 in the walls works great. The problem I had at home with when I played with it a few years back was that the circuit breakers and the different phases that your house, like I have like 2 phases, right? We all have 2 phases in our house, maybe more if you're a more bespoke power rich place. And I always ended up where the thing I was sending the internet from was on a different phase than where I needed to deliver the internet, and it just never worked.
Yeah.
Or I got like 100 megabit out of that 1 gig promised throughput, and it was just trash. So, yeah. Exactly. So absolutely, Ray. I'll definitely. I'm excited to hear that you'd be interested in that because, I would love to be able. Can I tell you my dream? My dream is to have John's gonna laugh when you hear this. My dream is to have a like ChatGPT-esque sort of AI that is only at home, that's as good as using GPT 3.5 or GPT 4, but also has, now I can't wait for you guys to look at me when I say this, but also has like all my personal information accessible to it so that
it's only,
but it's only privately mine in my family. So I could be like, what's the kid's schedule for this? And it goes, boop, 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 and it's like, you have this, but it's only for me. You can call me. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. Yeah, I would just absolutely love to have my own private AI.
Just have it integrated with your smart home stuff, and then you can.
Right. Well, I mean, because
you have HAL 9000 running your house.
Right now, everybody has everything going to Amazon or Google.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I don't want to do that. Why can't I? Why can't I have it? What do you say?
Finish your sentence, okay. And then you can go to the next.
All right, I can't help it. I want to talk to all the people. Yeah, I want so badly to have my own personal assistant that is intelligent and capable of accessing the internet and getting all the information as OpenAI's stuff is, but also has specifically my knowledge of my life and my family's, and is only inside there. Mm-hmm. That's the rub, right? The rub is like, hey guys, can you put this in place where it's safe? But I'm just telling you, I want that. I want to be able to say, how did I configure this VLAN? And it goes boop, 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 boop. I don't know why it has to boop, 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 but it says you did this and here's how you did it. I'll be like, oh, you're right, thank you. That way I don't have to remember anymore. Just all the stuff that we learn just goes in one side, and then something else falls out, like a memory of my children when they were little kids, right? Learn something new, and something that's actually precious to you falls out.
No, I get it. I'm amazed I drove myself here today.
Putting pants on is a ordeal.
Oh my God, right? You just walk out with no pants.
But you know how to configure VLANs in Unify like nobody's business.
Yeah,
so there you go.
Make it easy.
All right, so
and it's only sometimes.
But Calvin said his goal for 2024 is to finally get his home services up by LXD containers. Awesome. Yeah, I need to spend more time on that too. My entire container approach is just single host, single container, or running Docker or running Kubernetes on my single scale host, because that's where I run it. So
I know someone who actually puts his code in ChatGPT. It's like a spell checker practically.
Yeah, for the most part, it works.
Just check this and it works. It's crazy.
Brian says all the boops, and he's right. Boop 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 boop. That's you guys checked out eBay today? We got 5 minutes left.
We have 5 minutes left.
Well, yeah, I mean we're in 2 hours.
Okay, what's a normal Rich search term here? What do you search for?
This is how we're gonna end this. I still want to, guys, make sure to drop any sort of other comments, thoughts, questions you got, because I want to make sure that we get the stuff.
No, seriously, what is something you would search for? Like,
what I'm searching for,
or is it just your front page? It's no. Like this.
So go there and search for Supermicro.
Well, okay, you just search for Supermicro.
No, I don't search for Supermicro. I search for Supermicro
retro.
No, Fat Twin scalable.
Excuse me.
Intel.
Okay, here we go. Go away.
And what do we got?
Oh, I'm clicking on the wrong thing.
You are.
I'm clicking on the wrong monitor. That's really.
Okay, so what do we got here? There we go. So there's a motherboard for $199. Scroll down. And that.
We're just gonna.
Look at that guy. Look at what is that? It's a 4-node. Who doesn't want a 4-node? Yeah, but I think that's an E5 2680 V3. Yeah. Man, oh man, I just want to move on to scalables and without spending an arm and a leg. And I got them now, at least.
Hey, look, rack rails. That'd be my purchase. Would just be, I need rack rails.
So there's a motherboard right there. I could build Are you guys fans of building your own servers, or are you fans of using
a little bit of both?
Like, maybe? I mean, little A, little B, but like, or buying pre-built chassis systems from Supermicro or Fujitsu or HPE. Hopefully not HPE, but teach their own. Dell's okay, but
Brian's saying
Brian needs more Supermicro slides. Yeah, you can definitely get them. They're thankfully they're cheap. And Brian says build. The only reason why I have leaned heavily, it's actually kind of a comfort thing, right? Because I lean heavily towards the pre-built server chassis because I have a cabinet, but also, they already have the redundant power supplies and all that kind of good stuff. What are you looking at? You're not sharing it, so.
Oh, I know. I'm trying. You're talking, and I was trying to find something I found earlier. It was basically the TrueNAS Mini X Plus.
Oh, the chassis.
The chassis. It was like identical to it, but.
So Ray says pre-built. I'm down. I'm an equal opportunity. Okay, the next question then is Intel or AMD in 2024. Which one? Oh yeah, I remembered that. Yeah. I'm always happy to help people. That's
fan enclosure. What was?
Yeah, that's. I mean, all I gotta say.
Refresh my memory.
Oh, when I built out, I think it was Superboy. We talked about fans, and I made these adapter plates so you could put.
Oh, okay. They were 3D printed, right?
Yeah, and
okay.
So I just. Yeah, and he lives far away. Dude. Anytime I can like make connections with people, that was one of the original reasons why like John and I kind of started this was just to like meet awesome people and who love the same things that you do. And so it's 6 o'clock. So I guess I don't want to wax all poetic here, but I do want to say that I appreciate all of you guys, and that 2023 has been a heck of a year. and 2024 is going to be even more heck of a year, especially for VMware users. What did Brian say? Brian said something else here. His chassis is the same as TrueNAS Mini, but
I was just looking for that, Brian. Thank you.
I'm a solid TrueNAS Mini.
So,
oh, nice. I didn't know they were the chassis maker. I'll have to dig into that. Oh, Mitch, thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
So, guys, it's 6 o'clock, and I did promise that we were just going to run for a couple hours, and I don't want to say too long. I want to say thank you so much for hanging out with us here. Like John and I weren't certain if this was going to work out because we haven't done it for a couple of years.
We're rusty.
And so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Join our Discord. Absolutely get on the Discord. It's free, no paywall bullshit. You can just get in there and ask questions and hang out. Brandon's in there, John's in there, I'm in there, and there's a lot of other awesome people who are into the same sort of stuff. And I have to do the whole thing. Like we sell swag. Consider becoming a Discord member. It helps us out. Appreciate that. And MW, you waited till the last minute, and you guys are great. And we are looking forward to 2024. Yeah, John, you looking forward to 2024?
Oh yeah, we'll see what has to come, but always looking up.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Have an awesome
New Year's.
Fourth.
Yes, happy 4th.
Oh my God, an awesome New Year's, and we will see you. I guess we'll see you next year in 2024.
Yep.
Cool.
Crazy.
I think you hit the end stream Buto at the top.
Oh, is that what this is?
Yeah.
Oh.
But wait, what did Calvin say? Just video idea for what? Absolutely.
You know, a video I wanted to do for a while is like, never mind. Sorry, we're going too long here.
All right. Fix your server, Brian. Get in there, get it fixed. All right, guys.
We will see some of you in Discord.
Yeah.
The rest of you
get on
go to our website. We got a link to Discord.
Look at him. He's already on the go to the YouTube.
Yeah, it's got all our links on there. Instead of giving you a long link, just click on it. It's good to go. And Brian's just going to town. So
all right, guys.
Good luck tonight.
We're gonna call it. Cheers.